welcome back. Today I'm going to be addressing a topic for this, my final speech. I'm going to try and make it persuasive in nature and give you some research and statistics to back up my ideas. So, the relevancy for this topic mainly goes towards the idea of my channel being car related, but being that I was trying to also aim it towards my audience, I decided I would add elements of it being related to our world and our future. So just that way everybody has something they relate to. So, I myself own a few cars, which I'm sure you know if you've watched any of my previous videos. I've also taken some environmental biology classes over the course of my education, so I feel like I'm a good source to address this topic and to give a relatively non-biased opinion on the subject that I also have backed with formal research. Alright, that all being said, today I'm going to tell you why electric cars are the future for efficiency, speed, and most importantly, the Earth's sustainability. So, today I'm going to have 4 main points to bring to your attention and to help persuade your opinion. Maybe not to consider buying an e-car, but at least seeing how cool they are and why they're the future of what we need in the world. So I have these 4 main points. Within them I have sub points, so bear with me here. I tried to keep this as organized as possible. So, first of all, I'm going to talk about specs. I want to address speed and horsepower both on the track and on the street. Second, I want to talk about the downsides of crude engines and gasoline. Third, I want to tell you about how hard it is on the earth to dig for fossil soils. And finally, I want to talk about the amenities that come in many electric cars and how they can save you money in the long run. So, first things first, let's get the important stuff out of the way. How fast are electric cars? So, we know that since they're electric, they come with immediate torque, but how does that compare to other cars? How does that affect its performance on the track? On the street? Let's check it out. So, Motor Trend. It's one of my favorite magazines. They do great articles. Most of their things are written by, they test out a lot of cars. So most of their articles are written by people who test the cars and then immediately go write about it. So it's from a first-hand perspective of somebody who's done it and who has experience. So I love them. I read them just for fun, anything like that. And I saw I could use this as a source and went for it. So they released an article called, quote, "The top fastest accelerating electric cars from 0 to 60 miles per hour," unquote. So, not surprisingly, the fastest car to reach 0 to 60 was the Tesla Model S P1000D electric hatchback. It did 0 to 60 in an insane 2.3 seconds. That's mind-blowing to me. To put this in perspective, the average Subaru STI can do 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds. Dr. T, the average Prius can do 0 to 60 in 10.9 seconds. So, the Tesla Model S is the fastest e-car in existence right now and does beat out the Prius by almost 9 seconds. So, secondly was the Porsche Taycan Turbo S, which ran a time of 2.4 seconds from 0 to 60. Weirdly, Porsche advertises this car as having a 2.6 second launch time, but when Motor Trend tested it, they were actually able to get a faster statistic, so do with that what you will. Lastly, in the top 3, was the Tesla Model 3 dual motor performance at a staggering 3.1 second time. So, to conclude this section, it's pretty easy to see through these statistics that electric cars are quick. By the time you've listened to me finish say this sentence, the Tesla Model S has already hit 60 miles per hour and still accelerating. How do they work on the track and the street, though? This was one of the main reasons I did this presentation, was I was just curious about how well they actually perform. So, Road and Track, a vehicle performance testing company, tell us that the first thing they noticed about the Tesla Model 3 is that it has no engine noise. Now, if you're like me and you like to go out in the garage every morning, cold start your car, listen to the engine, listen to the exhaust, this might not be something you want if you're looking for a gritty car. Let's see. One of the advantages of this car is that the battery packs are directly underneath the entire car, the entire length of the car, which makes the weight distribution much more even in comparison to their competitors. So, if you think about it, if you're driving a regular car with the engine in the front, that's 75% of the car's weight right there in the front. If you're driving a Porsche or another car with an engine in the back, same thing, but backwards. The Teslas have that weight distributed completely over the bottom of the car, and on their website they actually tell us that these battery packs distribute the weight of the car 50-50 front and back. So this car is almost perfectly weighted. So racing and speed put huge demands on the car, if you couldn't guess that. One of the problems that they encountered with this car is that after about 4 laps, it lost some of its power and had to be put into charging. And then they just charge it up and they'd bring it back and it was fine again. But they compared that to the Honda Type R, which is another common track car, and they said that the Honda actually overheated after 2 laps and sent itself into limp mode. So you've got the Tesla that can do 4 laps, so double already. Charge it for 20 minutes, boom, she's back. Or you've got the Type R that can run 2 laps, period, and then is done for the day. So take that as you will. Let's see. So as far as racing goes, it's easy to see that these e-cars can take the pressure of an intense drive just as good as, and if not better, than a regular track car. So moving on a little bit, I want to talk about the downsides to crude internal combustion or normal engines. So the first thing, like I mentioned in my pro versus con speech, owning a car is expensive. Crude engines are one of the main reasons for that. First of all, regular engines take gas. Gas is expensive and can really easily be substituted by electricity, which is far more sustainable for our environment and cheaper costing. The average American family, this number blew me away, the average American family spends almost 1/5 of their annual earnings on transportation. So that cost could be cut in half if that family switched to an electric car. Another point is that crude engines run dirty. Most electric cars have 0 emissions, but regular cars make carbon in their combustion processes and tend to leave smog in their exhaust pipes and in our atmosphere. The final point as to why regular engines aren't something that will thrive in the coming years is because they're simply a thing of the past. They're outdated and they're limited in the ways that you can make power and improve. So, for my third point, I wanted to talk about how harmful it is for us to dig for fossil fuels, which is another reason we should just leave old cars in the past and accept that e-cars will be the future. So, subpoint 1, drilling for fuel disrupts wildlife's natural habitats. So, these endeavors make all kinds of noises and vibrations, and the chemicals released can often pollute or ruin the quality of the food or water sources for the animals around dig sites. It's an old technique, and it's actually proven to promote shacking in the Earth's layers in the crust too, and promote more earthquakes. Oil spills too can be deadly to animals. If the equipment, fuel, or oil falls overboard while in transport, it can kill thousands of creatures. In the Gulf of Mexico in 2010, there was an oil spill that spread over almost 68,000 miles of ocean. This spill killed approximately 1 million coastal and offshore birds, 5,000 marine animals, and 1,000 sea turtles. By switching to electric cars, we could avoid many spills like that, at least when drilling for oil. Excuse me. So, next, air and water pollution can hurt a lot of local communities. There are 1.3 million oil and gas facilities across the U.S., from active production wells to processing plants, and more than 12 million people live within a half mile of these facilities. And they're exposed to air and water pollution on a daily basis, which can lead to so many health issues. I don't know if you've ever looked into it, but reproductive issues are such a big thing if you live close to any of those processing plants. Lastly, these dangerous emissions can contribute to climate change. So as time goes on, we keep sending emissions and greenhouse gases into the air, which is harmful to our atmosphere. These emissions emit a solar heat and are slowly causing the Earth's temperature to rise. Currently, 24% of the Earth's greenhouse gases emissions can be traced to fossil fuels extracted from federal lands. So, my final point as to why electric cars are the future, I want to talk about the amenities that come in electric cars and how they can save you money or even save your life in the long run. So, most car technology in cars today is kind of outdated. You get a simple stereo, maybe a CD cassette player, and 1 or 2 airbags. On the other hand, modern electric vehicles are tested daily for their safety ratings and ease of the driver. Using Tesla as an example again, the Model 3 is the safest car ever tested by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It has the lowest probability of injury in a collision out of any of the 900 cars that the Safety Administration has ever tested. It's the safest one they've ever tested. So, as for comfort of the driver, the new Tesla e-cars have become some of the most advanced sound and navigation systems to come stock on a vehicle in a very long time. So, in conclusion, e-cars are most certainly our future. Between how crude gases are affecting our environment, all the way down to the driver's safety and comfort, it's clear to see that electronic and battery-powered cars will be leading the way in the next few years for both daily drivers, racers, and enthusiasts alike. All in all, each driver has different needs, and at the end of the day, though, these cars could definitely be the future that Marty and Doc spoke about in Back to the Future. They cater to the environment, the people, and the safety for our lives in some inevitable road accidents. At the end of the day, I don't expect you to change your mind if you don't like electric cars. I do, however, hope you will be able to learn a little bit more about them and understand why we need to keep moving forward. With all of that being said, thank you for listening.